Hey, Twin Cities, John Foss, very excited. I'm talking with Tom Douglas, Michael Lennox, and in this job, there's not a lot of films that I get to see where I want to go back and watch them again. This is one of them. It's called Love, Tom, and it's going to be on Paramount Plus February 24th. Guys, I love this movie. Tell us about it.
Well, it was a labor of love to do it, and Michael and I enjoyed it with my son-in-law Austin and my son Tommy that wrote it. Austin produced it. It started off really as a live performance. I created a live performance, a one-man performance, a couple of years ago, and performed it over 100 times, really just in an effort and desire to connect with the public. And it was based off a speech that I gave in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2014, which was 12 minutes. Then we expanded it to a 56-minute one-man performance. Michael saw it and said, I know how to make a movie out of this.
So, Michael, tell us how you got involved. You saw it and you thought, boom, this is a movie, or how did it come about?
Listen, I went to see Tom's play, and it had a profound effect on me. I'm not involved in music, do you know what I mean? I'm an Irish filmmaker, but there was something Tom was saying about the creative process and the struggle behind the creative process that I was like, this could be something more. It's a different experience on the stage, but I thought with making a film, we could be more invasive or more personal. And it was sort of a challenge to me of, how do I do that? And it was sort of a real sort of experimentation for me as a filmmaker. And that's sort of where the idea grew.
One of the cool things about the film is that it's kind of a love letter, in addition to the amazing writing, a love letter to Nashville. Just some of the sights and sounds and scenes that you see there. Nashville is one of my favorite cities. Tell me about that and the idea to get all of these cool shots in this film.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it. It's a sort of walking love letter to Nashville, and as a filmmaker, location is it's another character, is part of a story. And Nashville means so much to Tom, means so much to songwriting, and it was connecting Tom with his past through visuals, through music, through a sonic experience. And I think that was the joy of what film can do.
And when I was watching the film, I have 5 kids myself. When it got to the part where Tom, you performed "My Little Girl," basically into the first line, I almost had to shut the thing off, because that song, it just destroys you as a dad, especially of girls. And you mentioned in the documentary that your wife helped you write that song. Tell me about that song, and you said that she showed you a piece of paper after you guys talked, and you were like, boom, there it is. Did she basically have it written out, or did you take her notes and then turn it into what it is? Or tell me about that.
Well, as a father of girls, you already know this, but boys are bad and dogs are really good. So that's the only thing you really need to know that I remember from raising daughters. But yeah, I had that cool experience to be on set with Tim McGraw when he was filming Flicka. And, I'd read the script and read the book, and I soaked up the sights and sounds of the set, and they needed this end title in 2 weeks. And I was a basket case. I'm an anxiety addict anyway, and I came home and I was paralyzed, and then I had to go to Florida with my family on vacation. And my wife came out and she said, "You're taking this way too seriously. What's the movie about?" I told her it's a father-daughter love song, and we went through my experience of raising daughters, and she was taking notes while I was, doing the stream of consciousness thing. And like literally in about 10 minutes, she handed me this yellow legal pad with all these notes and ideas. And I was like, that's the song. So I in collaboration with Tim McGraw and Katie Douglas, the song came to life.
Absolutely. And when you look back, you've worked with so many great artists, you've written so many amazing songs. What's the top song, would you say, that sticks out, or maybe the collaboration that sticks out that you think this was the #1 experience of my career?
You know what? That's really hard to say. And as a songwriter, this will sound cliche, John, but it's always the next song. You really have to learn this sense of detachment with the songs that you write, or they start, wrapping their tentacles around you and strangling you. It's kind of that's the creative process. We create, we share, we detach, and then we create, share, and detach again. And so I love every song I've written. You know, I love the creative process, but it's really all about the next thing, kind of propelling yourself to the next thing.
Michael, when you look back at the film now that it's finished and that vision that you had coming into it, did it end up looking the way that you thought initially in your head, or did things change throughout the process to become something totally different? What do you think when you look back and see it now? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, listen, looking back, and very, very proud of the result. Like, film changes, you know, all the time. When you shoot it, it's a different film. When you edit something, it's a different film. But there was something about this project which was full of surprise. I sort of went into this with these sort of mad ideas and ambition, not too sure how they were going to pan out. So there was just a wonderful surprise when you're filming this thing, that it felt sort of quite wondrous and organic. So I'm really pleased on that front with the result.
And Tom, one last question for you. One of the things that I thought was interesting that you kind of talk about in the film is that when you were kind of into your career, you weren't a songwriter, and then in the middle of your career you made this change and became one of the best songwriters of all time, maybe the best. How did that happen?
Well, you know, I've really been a songwriter since I was about 12. I just never could write anything that was commercially viable. You know, I came to Nashville for 4 years, left, never to return, reinvented myself as a real estate broker, but then I quit for long periods of time. I really tried to leave it behind. It's like a bad habit that you can't quit, but it kept chasing me down. Thankfully it did. And, you know, about age 39 or 40, I was like, I love this. I know I'll never get a song recorded. Why don't I just decide to try to write the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for once? And I sat down and kind of had a breakthrough when I wrote my song Little Rock that Colin Ray recorded. And kind of once I had that breakthrough, I could kind of figure out my way to the next song. But, you know, some of us are, you know, underachievers, late bloomers, you know, all that. That's what this movie is about. It dignifies the struggle of the creative process, no matter what. We're all creative, homemakers, chefs, you know, gardeners, whatever. Everybody is creative in this world. And really, this just dignifies the difficulty of the creative process and hopefully encourages them to, you know, to go on to the next day and the next thing, whatever that may be.
Definitely. And guys, it's an honor to talk with you. Can't tell you enough how much I love this film. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you guys today. Twin Cities, you have to check this out. It's called Love Tom. It's on Paramount Plus, February 24th. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, John.